2, 3, 4. Pow, pow, pow. All right, rolling live from the wasteland here on the survival path. This is Freedom Phil. What are we talking about? The reason I don't believe in American-style protests, I'm going to explain it. It's anything but actually doing some work. And you're like, well, what do you mean? It's easy to hold a sign and scream about stuff. It takes actual hoods to go out there and build a better world with your own hands. Now, where am I going with this? Freedom Phil, like and subscribe. Let's get into it. And hey, turn up the video speed. And why do I say that? Because you watch the videos. If I choose to upload this at 1.75 or higher, why not? Videos faster. That's what I do. And not a channel for children. I swear, I cuss. I talk about all sorts of wild, crazy things. And I'm not a digital nanny. So if you're mad about your kid regurgitating something I said, well, frankly, you should quit being a shitty parent and know what your kids are watching. And as always, I do have a few standards for my channel. If you're, just randomly spamming crap, you'll be kicked out. And if you're a jackass, be kicked out. If you seem like a robot or a retard, I'll point it out, by the way. But that's why at some point, if chat starts going a little too fast, I'll put it on slow mode and I'll turn it on subscribers only, because really I'd only like to read from comments from people that are actually, intelligent enough to hit the subscribe button. And if you're not, if you don't want to subscribe, that's fine. You can stay quiet. We don't need to hear from you. All right, Freedom Phil, like, subscribe. Let's get into it. And by the way, the funny thing is about subscribing, it's literally free. So I don't want to hear any complaints. But yeah, when it comes down to this whole thing with the protesters in America, like I look at the protests that are going on, like in Iran right now, which, surprise, not much coverage from the media about it. Like they're really gambling with their lives. And I've heard mixed things that say whether the Ayatollah or whatever his name is has fled the country or not. Not sure. But, the situation is in that country, when you get grabbed by the police, people may never see you again. You might just be lined up and shot. They have this situation in Syria where there were women who got, they were out protesting, and they got grabbed up by the, the secret police or whatever you want to call it, just the police in general, probably there. And they basically ended up having babies in prison. So translation, the guards are raping them. That's like some Bane level shit. That is not America. That is not what we're dealing with over here. Like, there's going to be a lot of people coming out of the Venezuelan prisons, political prisoners in Venezuela pretty soon. There'll be some horrific stories coming out of that shit. So what do I see when I see Americans? A bunch of bored people who don't actually want to do the hard work. Like, what do you mean the hard work? At any given time, if you wanted to build a better world, you could actually, you could actually do something. And, the thing about it is that I look at the world and say, okay, this person's going to school. They're trying to go to college or trade school. And you could actually set up a daycare to help them to where they have some child care. It'd make a huge difference in their life. You could, maybe clean up the parks. There's weeds growing in the flower beds. People could donate time to do that. Maybe you know how to build houses. You could teach other people how to build them. I understand a lot of the kids these days, they don't want to learn shit, but still be the person teaching people. You could actually, if you know how to fix cars, you could help people fix their cars. There's all these things that you could be doing versus protesting. You could actually, and it's, if you're a socialist, you should actually gravitate towards that. Like, when you build a soup kitchen or something and you're helping feeding people, that's you, the people, coming together to build a better fucking world. But that's not what that's not what an American protest is about. An American protest is about literally going out there and showing off that you're there. And, oh, I'm so virtuous. I say and do the right thing. So saith The View or whatever nonsense is pumped out on TV. These motherfuckers go out there and they're like, they just, and part of it has to do with, there's no consequences. It's like the whole joke of feminism has always been, you go back and you look at feminism. And what is it? A bunch of bored housewives back in the day. Is this all there is for me? Now imagine it was back in Little House on the Prairie era, when basically nobody had any time to do anything but work. Everybody had to contribute. Everybody had to work. So how much of these protests are literally, whether it's Section 8 people or bored housewives or old people that are like, and a lot of these people are all getting checks. They're getting money some way, somehow. And by the way, the people that are funding these riots, they're not protests, they're riots. Because a protest is something that's orderly. You're not parking your cars. Like, I want to point this out. Like, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. Do you know the people that are mostly benefiting from all your ICE protest? The mega corporations, the very same people you claim to hate. They're the ones that mostly, it's just like, hey, you know who wins whenever we don't have safe, reliable nuclear in this country? Oil and gas, coal. It's common sense. You look at who benefits the most. The 1% and the upper crust benefit from having all that cheap labor. So just understand that you're a useful idiot. And your protest, you could actually be out there in society cleaning up the trash, teaching kids to read. You could actually be doing something to build a positive world. But instead, you're just out there, either holding a sign, and by the way, throwing rocks, which is, you hit someone in the dome with a fucking rock, that's a deadly weapon. Okay? You deserve to get shot. I'm not being nice about that shit. You got these people out there burning stuff down, cars, breaking windows. This isn't a protest. That's a riot. Let's just call it what it is. And it'd be one thing if it was like I said in the beginning, like people in Iran that are literally trying to throw off a 50-year religious nut job regime. That's what they're trying to throw off. And hopefully it goes well for them. And like the situation, like I said earlier, with Syria, there's women coming out of prison with children because guess what? They got SA'd by the fucking guards and the police. That is a stark difference between America's protesting, which is just look at me, look at my sign. It's not even. It's like a fashion trend. I guess that is what annoys me the most about a lot of protesters. These people don't give a shit about the cause. They don't care what, by the way, thanks for the like. They don't give a fucking shit about the reality, the cause, the whatever. It's just, here we are, we're protesting, the orange man's bad. And if this was Little House on the Prairie era, you wouldn't have the fucking time to be wasting on this crap. You'd be out there doing something productive. So that kind of leads back to what I was saying earlier. If you want me to really believe in your side, well, ditch the protest and start building the better world. There's people who need childcare so they can go to schooling, whether it's trade schools or community college. Fucking step up. There's people out there that have vehicle problems. Step up. Help them out. There's people out there who need food or shelter. Like, actually be the activists that are out there fighting so you can build tiny homes for people. There's lots of things. Like, not everybody has as sweet as I do with a nice survival pod like I've got. Let's just be real. Luxury right here. Oh, yes. Pre-rusted. But, there's so many fucking things you could do that would build a better world. And you know what? That's hard work. And hard work is scary. That's the truth of it. They're like, oh, hard work? Ew, hard work. And that's where I look at all these protests, and it's just fake as hell to me. It's a bunch of bored suburban scumbags with more time than common sense. And they go out there and they make a jackass, like that woman the other day who hit that officer with her car. That guy had already been drugged by one person. That ain't a tragedy that she got shot. I say rip bozo. I say rip bozo on that chick. And the reason why is that, seriously, they asked you to get out of the car. You're being detained. You're literally, you see some of these cases with some of these deportations. And we're talking about gang members, people that have committed violent crimes, lots of crimes, some cases like sexual offenses. That's who you're trying, you're trying to keep that person from being deported. Wow, what a virtuous fucking person you are. And by the way, if it was a normal situation, like the police were arresting an American, and you used your cars and everything to block the road, you know what would happen? Your ass would be thrown in jail. At least you should be. You want to stop a lot of these problems with these fake protesters, these agitators, you go out there and you start arresting them for the crimes they're committing. It's just like gun laws. We don't need more gun laws. We just need the laws that are there to actually be enforced. And I know a lot of people, they can't understand that. You know, and by the way, if you want to say something, you got to be a subscriber. But ain't no big deal. It's just, you hit the button for subscribing. But you'll be like, why ain't gonna subscribe? Well, if you don't want to subscribe, don't subscribe. That's cool. You do you. But like, I don't want to hear from a bunch of people that can't even be bothered to hit a button. It's like, occasionally a like or two. But yeah, no. I just look at the outcome of all these protests. And what is it? What's the positive from all these protests? Did the potholes get filled? Do the children that need clothes, are they doing better? I mean, I'm just being real about it. And I just look at all of it and I'm like, no. This is why I can't take American protesting seriously. To me, American protesting is nothing more than a virtue signaling fashion trend. And that's it. That's it. If it was something that I saw, like if I saw it was like Iran or Venezuela, or coming soon, probably going to happen in the UK. Like a lot of these European countries where basically these migrants are just running roughshod over their people, and the government's just letting it happen and defending them. Like I saw this case the other day. It was insane. These two Afghani immigrants grabbed a 15-year-old girl and sexually assaulted her in the park. And she was screaming for anybody to help her. And there were all these people, nobody did a damn thing because they were more worried about if they helped her, because those people were poor brown people from a Muslim country. They were more worried about the outcome for helping her than that girl's welfare. I mean, for all we know, she might have a fucking venereal disease now. She also just got SA'd in the park. Nobody did a goddamn... Sooner or later, that shit's going to boil over, by the way. And when it does, that'll be a justified protest, justified riot. And you know what? I'll be like, I'll be giving, pour a drink, man. Be like, fucking yeah. When it happens, it happens. But most protests that I see in America, they're just a fashion trend. And if you really want to make a better world, go out in there and start filling the potholes and cleaning up the garbage, teaching kids to read, teaching people how to do plumbing, electricians work. You got a skill, help teach other people how to do it. But if you're not going to go to that level, then let's be honest, then this whole protest thing is just a form of entertainment. No different than sports or video games or, music. That's all it is. It's just entertainment. So, anyhow, that's my thoughts. Freedom Phil, take it easy. Peace. I should probably read that comment. Dude, you want subs? Try not sounding like you own. You know what? I'm actually gonna answer that because most of the people that roll into my chat are fucking robots or retards, and I've noticed a trend that my day gets a little bit better when I filter them the fuck out. And yes, I will talk down to my commenters, and there's a reason for that. Because a lot of you are fucking idiots. Like, I'm not going to sit here and fucking blow smoke up your ass and tell you how great you are. Oh, thank you. Hey, this is my sphere of oblivion, and I'll rule it however I want. Peace. I will treat my subs